Welcome to this week's tutorial on how to use Articulate Storyline. We're happy you've come back and are wanting to learn more about how to use Articulate Storyline. We hope you got something out of last week's video on the slide views ribbon and tabs. If you haven't watched it yet, we've included a link to it in the video description. You may have noticed that sometimes tabs will appear at the end of the ribbon when you select an object on the slide. These tabs are inherent to the type of object you select and will only appear when you select them. In this week's video, we'll discuss those special tabs and what you'll find. Let's get started. Buttons are designed to create engagement with the learner and come ready to program. All you need to do is assign the action you want to occur when the learner selects the button. Let's now look at the options available to you on the Button Tools tab. They are Action, Button Icons, Button Styles, Arrange and Align, Size and Position, and Publish. When you've finished inserting the button on the slide, the Button Tools tab will automatically open, and the first section in the ribbon is the Action section. This is where you can easily assign the engagement activity to the button. Are you wanting the button to open an image, continue to the next slide, or play a video? Whatever your desired engagement you are programming, you can use the Action section to program the action. When you select the When Clicked icon, the Trigger Wizard pop-up window will appear on the slide, just like if you had selected the new trigger icon from the Triggers panel. Next, we have the Button Icon section. Typically, most developers will insert text into the button to let the learner know what the button does. But you don't have to do that. You could use an icon instead. You can select the down arrow to open up a drop-down icon menu. This menu has various shapes for lesson navigation, help and assistance, playing or pausing a media file, etc. Next to the drop-down menu are 3 icons. These icons are tied to the button icon. When you select the Align icon, you will be able to position the icon within the button. The icon color icon will open the color selector menu. You do not need to have an icon assigned to the button to be able to use this icon. It will set the default color, and when you add an icon to the button, the icon will appear in the desired color. The Remove Icon trash can will remove the icon from the button. Remember, these icons program the icon for the selected button. If you have multiple buttons on a slide, they will not program the buttons you haven't selected. The Button Styles section has a drop-down menu of pre-programmed button styles. The styles are based on your design color scheme and font style. You will have 72 buttons to choose from. If you don't like the pre-programmed options, you can assign the fill color you want using the Button Fill icon. If you select the icon itself, Storyline will assign the color showing to the button, but if you select the down arrow, you will see the color selector menu. The button border icon works the same way. On the right side of the section is the Button Effects icon. Here you can select the shadow, reflection, glow, and soft edges. The shadow can add depth to the image or help pull it off the screen. Reflection can add 3D effects to the button. The glow will add a pre-programmed color completely surrounding the button, and the soft edges will dissolve the button's edges. Even though you had selected the style of the button when you inserted it, you may want to make the corners more or less pronounced. The button corner down arrow will open the corner radius window, allowing you to do that. The Arrange and Align section has 2 parts. The left side has the Arrange, Group, and Rotate icons. The Arrange icon will open the Arrange menu, allowing you to bring something closer to the learner or give it priority and appear in front of other items, or move it behind other objects on the slide. When you select multiple items on the slide, you can group them and have them perform the same action or move them to a different position as a group. The Rotate icon will open a drop-down menu. This menu will give you the ability to flip the button vertically or horizontally, or rotate 90-degree clockwise or counterclockwise. The right half of the section will align an individual object to the slide or multiple objects to each other. When aligning multiple objects, Storyline will identify the most extreme object and align the other selected objects to it, except when aligning the middle or center. In this case, Storyline will determine where the center line is for all of the selected objects and move them to that point. The Size and Position section allows you to enter the values, in pixels, of where the upper left corner will be and how large the button will be. The width and height values are not tied to each other, so you can make the button wider without making it taller. If you want to tie the height and width together and maintain the aspect ratio, you can select the section's down arrow and open the Size and Position window. Finally, at the far right end of the ribbon is the Publish section. Like on the other tabs, you can preview a specific slide or slides, the entire scene, or the entire project. You can also publish the project so others can view it. You will be able to publish it to Review 360, where you can send testers a link and they will be able to provide feedback on the slide where something is needing to be changed. You could also create the lesson as a video. This would be beneficial if you were wanting to upload it to YouTube or LinkedIn Learning. If you are needing to have a hard copy routed for approval, you can create a Word version. You can publish the lesson to be a standalone item on a website, or publish it with the appropriate SCORM file for uploading to an LMS. Our next special tab is the Slider Tools tab. Like the Table Tools tab, this tab has two tabs associated with it: Design and Format. Let's start with the Design tab. The Design tab is where you will program the slider's properties, and it has 4 sections. They are Slider Properties, Arrange and Align, Size and Position, and Publish. The Slider Properties section is where you will program the slider and its associated variable, and it consists of 6 text entry fields. When you insert a slider, Storyline will automatically assign a number variable to the slider. A number variable assigns a number to an item, or Storyline can use it to perform a mathematical operation. In order to keep the variable identifiable when performing the calculation or representing it on the slide, the variable will need a unique name. The default name will be slider with a number. The first slider inserted in the lesson will be given the number 1, and the second will be given the number 2, etc. It is recommended that you rename the slider variable to something meaningful and tied to the slider's function. This way, when you go back to troubleshoot the lesson and slider, you are able to know which slider you are adjusting. This variable name will also show up on the variable window. Beneath the variable text entry field is the Update field. There are 2 options when the slider variable will be updated: when the learner releases the mouse, or while the slider is being dragged. The learner will select the slider and hold the mouse button as he or she moves the mouse along the track. If you have selected when the learner releases option, the variable will not change until the learner releases the mouse button. At that time, whatever the slider's value is will now be assigned as the slider's numerical value. But if you selected the second option, the variable will update as the mouse moves along the slider. The start and end fields are used to determine how many stops there are in the slider. The start value is the smallest value, and the end value is the largest value. Once you've entered both of these numbers, the slider will evenly space out the stops for each of the other slider values. The step text entry field determines the difference between each stopping point on the slider. This will need to be a whole number. You cannot select 0.25. One thing to remember is there is a difference between using a start value of 0 and a start value of 1. If you have a start value of 0, an end value of 5, and a step value of 1, then the slider will have 6 stop points. They will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But if you change the start value to 1, you will have 5 stop points: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The initial text entry field allows you to set the initial or default value for the slider. When the slider first appears, this is the value that sets where the learner will see the slider before he or she moves it. The second section is the Arrange and Align section. Like on other tabs, you can use this section to set the object's priority over other objects, and which objects will appear in front of which objects, create a group of objects, rotate the object's appearance, or physical alignment of items to the slide or each other. The Size and Position section gives you the ability to enter specific pixel values, to move the slider to a different location or adjust the size. Because this is an object and not an image, you can adjust the width without affecting the height. If you want to maintain the aspect ratio, you can open the Size and Position pop-up window and lock the aspect ratio. The last icon on this tab is the Publish tab. Here you can preview or publish it. Remember, there are multiple options for publishing. Do you need others to review it? Will it be a video? Is it being uploaded to a website or LMS? Or do you need a Word document? Let's shift over to the Slider Tools Format tab. By now, you should be seeing some familiar sections in the ribbon. This is one of the things Storyline users love about the software package: the consistent look across Storyline. You know where to find the tool, and the tools will look and act the same every time they appear. The Format tab will have 5 sections: Thumb Styles, Track Styles, Arrange and Align, Size and Position, and Publish. Before we begin discussing each section, we need to identify what the thumb and the track are. The thumb is the pointer and the item the learner will drag along the slider, while the track appears behind the thumb and shows the range of the slider. Think of it as an audio board that a sound engineer will use to adjust the balance of each track. The fader is raised above the board, and the engineer uses his fingers to increase or decrease the impact of that specific channel. The sounds engineer's fader is your slider's thumb, and the track is what the area the fader is set into on the soundboard. The first thing you will see in the thumb styles is the drop-down menu showing the different pre-programmed thumbs. When you select the down arrow, a drop-down menu will open showing 9 different color options based on the theme's colors. Each color will have 6 different options for the thumb's look. If you don't like the color options, you can select the color you want with the thumb fill. If you select the icon, Storyline will change the thumb's color to the color in the icon, but if you select the down arrow, you will see the color selector window. You can use the palette at the top of the window to select the color, or you can enter the HTML, hex, or RGB value for the exact shade you want. You can also change the fill to a picture, apply a gradient, or add transparency to the fill. The same options are then available with the thumb border. You will only have 2 options for the thumb effects: shadow and glow. The next section is the track styles. Again, you will have a drop-down menu showing the different pre-programmed styles based on the theme colors. You will also have the same ability to select and change the track's fill and border to a different color. Like the thumb styles, you will only be able to choose a shadow or glow effect. Reflections and soft edges will be grayed out. You will again see the Arrange and Align section, allowing you to give the slider priority over other objects on the slide, grouping the slider with other objects so you can move them as a single item to a different location on the slide, and rotating or flipping the slider. There is a slight difference between this tab size and position and other tabs. This tab will only show the width and height for the slider. If you want to input the exact position, you will need to open the Size and Position pop-up window. And, just like all of the other tabs, when you look to the last section on the tab, you will see the Publish section, allowing you to preview the all of, or a portion of, the lesson, or to publish the lesson so others can view it. Our next Tools tab is the Dial Tools tab. Think of the dial as a round slider, because the dial's functionality works exactly the same as the slider. There are a few differences in the appearance and what you, as the developer, will see. Let's first take a look at the Design tab. Like the Slider Tools Design tab, the Dial Tools Design tab has 4 sections. They are Dial Properties, Arrange and Align, Size and Position, and Publish. Let's look at the dial properties' similarity to the slider properties. Storyline will automatically assign a name to the dial's value, and it uses the same naming structure as the slider. Only in this case, it uses the name dial with the number, instead of slider with the number. Also, the variable will show up on the variable pop-up window. You will also have the ability to set when the value of the dial's variable is updated. Again, your options are when the dial is dragged and when the dial is released. The first option will continually change the variable's value while you are rotating the dial's pointer, while the second will not update the variable until the learner releases the mouse's button. The start value, end value, initial value, and step value also act exactly the same as they do with a slider. The start value is the dial's lowest value, while the end value is the dial's highest value. The initial value is the dial's value when the learner first sees the dial on the screen, and the step value is the increment between each of the stops on the dial. There are 2 new fields associated with the dial that are not associated with the slider. They are Rotation and Show Arc. The Rotation text entry field enables the developer to enter the number of degrees the dial is able to rotate. If the developer enters 90 degrees, then the maximum rotation would be 90 degrees, and all of the dial stops will be contained within those 90 degrees. The Show Arc field is a drop-down menu with 2 options, Always and When Selected. This refers to what the developer will see as he or she is creating or editing the slide, and the learner will not see the dial's arc. The Arrange and Align section, like on other Tools tabs, is divided into two halves. The left half has three selectable icons and menus: Arrange, Group, and Rotate. The Arrange icon will give the developer the ability to set the priority of the objects on the slide and what will appear in front of other items. The Group option will create a group of items, and the developer can assign an action to all of the items in the group, or move them all at the same time, keeping their initial spacing and alignment. The Rotate icon will open a third menu and gives the developer the ability to rotate the object clockwise or counterclockwise 90 degrees, or flip the object horizontally or vertically. If the developer wants to enter a custom rotation value, then he or she will open the Size and Position window using the More Rotation options at the bottom of the window. The right side of the section has 8 icons arranged in 3 rows. Like on other tabs, you can select a single object and align it to the slide, or multiple objects and align them to each other. The top row will set the alignment to the top, to the middle, or to the bottom. The middle row will set the alignment to the left, to the center, or to the right. There are only 2 icons on the bottom row. This will distribute the items equally, either vertically or horizontally. The Size and Position section has 4 text entry fields to set the horizontal and vertical position and adjust the width and height. The horizontal and vertical positions are based on the slide's upper left corner. As the X value gets larger, the object's left side will move to the right. Similarly, as the Y value gets larger, the object's top edge will move to the bottom. The dial will always appear as a circle, so as you change the width or height, the corresponding value will also change. As we have mentioned on the other tools and tabs, the last section on the tab will be Publish. You will have the ability to preview or publish the lesson. Like the Dial Tools Design tab, the Dial Tools Format tab's ribbon and functionality is exactly the same as the Slider Tools Format tab. There are 5 sections to the ribbon. They are Pointer Styles, Face Styles, Arrange and Align, Size and Position, and Publish. Think of the dial as an analog watch. The watch's hands perform the same function as the dial's pointers. As the watch's hands point to the numbers to tell the time, the dial's pointers point in a direction to indicate something. The watch's face is the plate behind the hands, and the dial's face is the area surrounding the pointer. Our first section is the Pointer Styles. You can select a default pointer style by selecting the Pointer Styles drop-down menu. There are 2 styles of pointers and 9 color options. The color options are based on the design theme's default colors. If you do not like the color options, you can use the pointer fill and pointer border icons to change the fill and border colors. You do not have to select a solid color for the fill or border. You could replace the color with a picture, texture, or a gradient. The next section is Face Styles. Like the Pointer Styles section, you can use the drop-down menu to insert a pre-programmed face. Again, the available options are based on the design theme's colors. If you don't like the colors Storyline provides, you can change it to a different color, picture, texture, or gradient using the Face Fill or Face Border menus. The Dial Tools Pointer Effects and the Face Effects both work like the Slider Tools Thumb Effects and Track Effects. You will only have the ability to select shadow and glow. You cannot add a reflection or soft edges. The Arrange and Align section works just like it does on the other tools and tabs. You will be able to arrange the objects on the slide or give something priority over and appear in front of another item. You can create a group of items on the slide or rotate or flip the dial. You will also be able to align the object to the slide or to another object on the slide. The Size and Position section will only show you the width and height of the dial. If you want to enter a specific position for the dial to appear, you'll need to open the Size and Position window. Finally, you can preview the work you've done or publish the lesson using the Publish section. The final Special Tools tab we are going to discuss in this video will be the Audio Tools tab. This is where you will edit the audio you've inserted onto a slide. There are 4 sections to this tool. They are Play, Audio Options, Closed Captions, and Publish. The Play section only has one icon, Preview. This is not the same as the Preview option in the Publish section. When you select Preview in the Publish section, you are previewing how the slide is put together and what it will look like when it is published. The Preview icon in the Play section will only play the audio track you've selected. The second section is the Audio Options section. The first icon, AI text-to-speech, may or may not appear, depending upon the source of the audio track. If the audio track you've selected from the slide's timeline was not created and inserted using Storyline's AI text-to-speech tool, the icon will not appear. If you did create the audio track using the AI text-to-speech tool, the icon will open Storyline's AI text-to-speech window. This window is the same window you will use to generate any AI text-to-speech. You will be able to change the AI voice and change the words the AI voice is saying. The audio volume icon will open a drop-down menu where you will see 4 options: low, medium, high, and mute. The next icon is the audio editor. Selecting this icon will open up a window allowing you to edit the track. Storyline's audio editor includes basic editing capabilities. You will see a tall blue line on the audio track. This indicates where in the audio timeline the playhead is currently located. Selecting the import icon will allow you to enter a new audio file at the playhead's location. To use the delete and crop features, you will need to select a segment of the audio, and the 2 icons work opposite each other. The delete tool will remove the portion of the audio you selected, while the crop tool will remove everything except for your selection. The silence icon will open a pop-up window allowing you to insert silence. You will enter amount of time you want, added at the playhead's location. This can be useful on voiceover track, where you need a slightly longer pause between sentences. You also have a volume tool on the editor. This volume tool works differently than the volume tool in the ribbon. Here, you can raise or lower the volume up to 100% of the current volume and have a customized volume level. You can apply this customized volume to the entire track or a selected portion of the track. The View section has 2 icons, Show All and Zoom Selection. Like the Delete and Crop tools, the Show All and Zoom Selection tools also work opposite each other. If you have zoomed into the timeline, either by using the Zoom Selection tool or by using the Zoom feature at the bottom right corner of the editor, you can return to the entire timeline with the Show All icon. If you are trying to edit a specific section of the track, you can select that portion and use the Zoom selection to see only that portion. If you need to change the audio track, whether by completely replacing it with a different audio track or edit a voiceover, you will select the Replace Audio Icons drop-down menu. If you need to save the audio to your hard drive, you will use the Export Audio icon. The third section is the Closed Captions section. Closed captioning is a valuable method to provide an equitable learning experience for those who are hearing impaired, and you should always provide closed captions where possible. Storyline will identify the words that are being spoken on your audio track and include the captions for the learner. The Manage Captions window will translate the audio into captions, where you can adjust how and when those captions are shown to the learner. The Import and Export icons will enable you to upload or save a closed captions file, or you can delete the captions. The last section is the Publish section, where you can preview the material or publish the course. Remember, this preview will show the slide as the learner will see it, while the preview feature in the Play section only plays the audio file. Thank you for spending the last few minutes and watching this week's video, designed to help you learn Articulate Storyline. We hope you found it useful and valuable. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If there is something about Storyline you want to learn more about, please let us know in the comments. Dixie, Everclear, and Fireball also say thank you and want you to have a great day.